Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. J, and today I wanted to talk to you all about three different names very important for Real Madrid for different reasons. I will be talking about Jules Kounde and his possible signing for Chelsea. I will be talking about Martin Odegaard and his possible departure to Arsenal, because this is very important. And of course, I will be talking about Kylian Mbappe and the allegedly statement that he said yesterday in an interview that he wants to win the Champions League with PSG and not for Real Madrid, because it was a big disappointment for Los Madridistas when they heard about that. But the funny thing is that that interview, it is not a recent interview, but something from the month of May. So we have to look at the context to figure what is going on here, because Kylian Mbappe, because I had access to the context and the statement and all the stuff, because the Eddie Marca released the whole context. And if you look at the context, if you do your research, you will realize that is not exactly what he said, okay? But I'm going to put this for the end of the show. But let me first start with Jules Kounde and his possible signing for Chelsea, because this is pretty obvious. It's very bad news for Real Madrid, because Jules Kounde has been very attached to Real Madrid over the last months. The first thing that we heard a couple months ago before the European Championship is that Jules Kounde was looking forward to play in a bigger team, I mean much bigger than Sevilla, and he was looking forward to play in a team that might fight for the champions or something like that. So Real Madrid was very close to sign the player, especially when Rafa Varane, we were told that he wanted to play in Manchester United. Everybody out there, or so many people out there, were claiming that Jules Kounde might end in Real Madrid. But now Fabrizio Romano, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, he claimed that there were open talks between Chelsea and Sevilla to sign Jules Kounde, and now apparently the deal is very close to happen. And the deal apparently is including to Suma from Chelsea plus 40 million euros, because the player Jules Kounde is worth in about 80 million, and Sevilla didn't want to lower the price. So apparently they said, okay, if you include this guy to Suma, which is also a center back, we will be okay with that. The deal can happen, we can go ahead and do it. So right now, for now, is very close to happen. Jules Kounde will play 90% chance for Chelsea. So is that good for Real Madrid? Is that bad? Okay, let me tell you my own opinion, my own take about this possible signing. Okay, it is really true that we really need another, in my opinion, fourth center back, right, for this season. Because if you think about it, after the departure of Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane, I think that we are a little bit short in center backs, because we still have to Nacho, Militao, and also David Alaba. But the fourth center back, that would be Vallejo. And in my opinion, Vallejo is a very good player, but he doesn't have level enough to play in Real Madrid. And the other thing, it is apparently very close. The player is very close to leave Real Madrid and go out and play for Espanyol. So the other choice that you have is to play with the youngsters, Mario Gila or Victor Chus, but neither of those, in my opinion, have level enough either to play in Real Madrid. So it is good, because if you used a 4 players back line, it is still good because you can play with Militao and David Alaba. But for example, now David Alaba tested positive in COVID-19, so who are you going to put in that place? Obviously Nacho Fernandez, but the problem is we don't have either to Ferland, and Carvajal is as well injured. So we are running, I mean, we are running out of players in the back line, and you don't even have good replacements. I mean, Jules Kounde, in my opinion, is a top class player, and in my opinion, he will keep growing in the next few years. And in my opinion, if he goes to play in Chelsea, he will get even better. But if he had signed for Real Madrid, in my opinion, that growth would be even better as well, because he has leveled enough to play in Real Madrid, and that would be a good option for Real Madrid. However, the problem is this player is so expensive. So in the summer, when you have to sign a player like Kylian Mbappe, you can't afford to spend 80 million euros in a player when you already have some other center backs and players and options. You know what I'm saying? So I really understand the position of Real Madrid in this situation, because that way, if you spend such amount of money, you won't have money enough maybe for Kylian Mbappe, or even to bolster any other position that you have to reinforce for this year, or maybe sign another player that is more necessary or something like that. So I really understand, and although it tastes really bad for me because I wanted to see Jules Kounde landing in Madrid, I really understand and I get it. I mean, I understand why Real Madrid is not going ahead and sign to Jules Kounde, and of course I also understand Jules Kounde that he wants to play in a bigger team and he doesn't want to wait for Real Madrid the next year, so completely understandable. So let's move on now and let's talk about Martin Odegaard and what is going on right now with the Norwegian player in Madrid, because apparently he's not very happy in Madrid and he's considering actually the possibility for him to departure and exit from Madrid and get back to Arsenal. Of course, everybody knows that Arsenal was so happy with the Norwegian player. He played about 20 games the last season in Arsenal. He scored, I think it was two goals and 2 assists, so it was not bad for a player who arrived in the winter market. So, but Arteta was so happy with the player, he adapted to the new teams, to the new teammates very soon, and he was apparently very happy as well in Arsenal. And the other thing that we have, the other information why Martin Odegaard allegedly wants to leave Real Madrid, is because he would have about 7 million euro salary per year, which is significantly more than the money he would make in Real Madrid. So there are a bunch of reasons for him to leave Real Madrid and go out and play Arsenal. But the problem is, from a Madridista perspective, let me tell you, once you arrive to Real Madrid, it is not because you are going to play for sure in the starting 11. I mean, once you arrive to Real Madrid, you have to understand, every single player has to understand that if you are in Real Madrid already, it is because Real Madrid spot something in you important, but doesn't mean that you will play for sure. I mean, as of you arrive to Real Madrid, then you have to show that you want to play in Real Madrid, you want to fight for a spot in Real Madrid, and that you want to become important for Real Madrid, right? That is the only way to go, and that is what Real Madrid is all about. You know what I'm saying? So if you quit, if you give up, if you don't want to fight for a spot in Real Madrid, then Real Madrid is not for you. So you better go out and play in another team before to get started in the season with Real Madrid, because you apparently don't understand what Real Madrid is all about. I mean, if you want to stay in Real Madrid, I'm okay with that, because I think that Real Madrid really needs players like Martin Odegaard to replace Luka Modric. I think that Martin Odegaard is a very skillful player, really talented player. He can carry up the ball, he can drive up the ball very quickly, I mean, and build up counter-attacks super quick. That is good. He has a lot of skills and stuff like that. But the problem is, if you don't have the attitude, the right attitude to be in Real Madrid, you better go out and play in another place, because Real Madrid maybe is not for you. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed, because what I was expecting from Martin Odegaard, it was to see a player who's really looking forward to succeed in Real Madrid, and I understood why he quit, why he stepped out of Real Madrid in the last winter market, just because he felt kind of betrayed by Zinedine Zidane, just because he only had 2 games in the starting 11, and then he quit because he was thinking that he was going to be all the time in the starting 11, and then he realized that he was all the time in the bench. So I understood at that moment, but Zinedine Zidane advised the player at that moment, you have to, I mean, you should stay and fight for a spot in Real Madrid. But he didn't want to do that, and that's why he went all the way to Arsenal and play, and he was happy. So apparently now he wants to repeat the same situation and do the same. And Arsenal, according to Sky Sports, is monitoring the situation, because they are the first one interested in signing Martin Odegaard, because they were so happy and they still think that his performances can make the difference in the Gunners. So I'm okay with that, because if you are not ready to go, if you are not ready to play in Real Madrid, you better go out. I mean, that's my honest opinion, and I wish the best to the player. I mean, no hard feelings. I don't feel you know, mad, or I don't want to be mean with the player because he wants to play in another team. I'm okay with that. The problem is, we have put a lot of hope, we have put a lot of, you know, expectations on you, for you now to go out of Real Madrid. That's why I'm feeling a little bit bad, so, not sorry, but sad, or I don't know. But yeah, definitely you better go out, because if you're not ready to play in Real Madrid, accepting and assuming what Real Madrid is all about, then you better go out and play in another team. So we will keep, I will keep you posted wherever it happens, because nobody knows exactly what is going on here, but there is something, because there are many journalists right now talking about that and claiming that it's true that Martin Odegaard might leave Real Madrid. So I will keep you posted wherever it happens. But now I want to keep moving forward and start to talk about something really important for Los Madridistas, which is of course Kylian Mbappe. What happened yesterday with Kylian Mbappe? What happened with that allegedly statement that he did in the official magazine of PSG, claiming that he wants to win the Champions League and all this stuff? Okay, let me tell you what. Some people in Spain reacted to the statement of Kylian Mbappe right after it was released, and including me, saying, oh wow, my god, this is a kind of disappointing. I mean, we were completely, you know, in ruins just because we heard from Kylian Mbappe that he wants to win the Champions League with PSG and not join Real Madrid. And then right after that, a lot of people started to claim that this interview was not a recent interview, but an interview from the month of May, I mean 3 months ago. So it was completely out of context, and Kylian Mbappe just, I mean, he said that, but you have to understand that he was talking to the official magazine of PSG. So what are you supposed to say when you are talking in an interview to your official magazine of your club or things like that? But the thing is, I was not okay with that, and I kept doing my research, my own research, and today Diario Marca released the whole context when Kylian Mbappe said this kind of a statement, and what he said is not exactly what we read in the headlines. It was completely different thing. According to Diario Marca, Mbappe was in an interview along with Neymar, and then Kylian Mbappe asked to Neymar, what would be your dream with all the things that you have achieved already? And then Neymar said, I want to win the Champions League with PSG and of course the World Championship with Brazil. And then Neymar asked to Kylian Mbappe, and what would be your dream, right? And Neymar, not Kylian Mbappe, Neymar said, another Champions, and Kylian Mbappe responded saying, maybe another World Championship. I mean, he mentioned the World Championship, not the champions. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, if the interview was in May, PSG was already eliminated by Manchester City in the May the 4th, if I'm not wrong. I mean, they were eliminated in May the 4th. So it makes any sense, because the interview, in my opinion, was right after that. So he was not talking about the past edition of the Champions, but the next one. So that's why a lot of Madridistas went crazy, and they were like, oh my god, this guy is not coming anymore to Real Madrid and things like that. But the most important to me, it is not when was the interview, but what he really said. And look at the context. I mean, he was talking to Neymar, and he didn't say at any moment that he wanted to win the Champions with PSG. He wants to win another World Championship. That's it. So that's why I keep my faith, I keep my hope in that Kylian Mbappe will arrive to Real Madrid this year. I mean, I'm not saying though it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be, you know, like right quick. It's gonna be complicated, that is true. But don't try to, you know, misinterpret his words. Don't try to get this whole thing in a wrong sense or something like that. In my opinion, Kylian Mbappe has a lot of chances to play in Real Madrid this year, and Real Madrid has a lot of chances to sign Kylian Mbappe this year. But we have to look carefully to every single thing Kylian Mbappe says, right? And if you see a headline or something like that, be careful, because not always is right, and sometimes it's completely out of context, like in this case. So I mean, stay calm, stay cool. The Kylian Mbappe still has chances to play in Real Madrid this year, and otherwise he will play in Real Madrid the next year, so it's not the end of the world. So I mean, that is my opinion. That is what I wanted to share with you all, just to let you know that Los Madridistas, we have to keep, you know, the cool and be happy, because there are all the chances for Kylian Mbappe to play in Real Madrid are alive, and there's no reason for us to panic and things like that. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.